Okay, it is go time. This time next week we'll be at the track. So just 5 days until till we leave as I record this. So much stuff to do. There's just a lot going on around here. Anyway, my driver's not a lot of help. He's got all his high school stuff. He's got volunteering, and he's in the end of his soccer season. He's got his homework, so it's kind of falling on my shoulders. We got a load of family stuff. We got family in town from abroad. My other brother is coming in on Wednesday night because he's racing in Buttonwillow next weekend. So got all the family stuff, which we all have and are lucky to have. But I'm looking past the camera right now at the car, and the place is a mess. There's so much stuff still left to do. So I'm going to record as much of it as I can for you. But I can't sit here talking to you guys. I got to start doing stuff. Let's go. We got a little bit of a problem here. This is the front right wheel, and hopefully you can hear or even see this. So when I wobble it, it does wobble, and it shouldn't wobble. The issue is, hopefully you can see it here, there is a nut in here that needs to be tightened up to get rid of that slack. It's, you can probably drive it with that, but you really wouldn't be going particularly fast. And anything loose on a race car is bad. So it's my understanding that, if I move you around here, in there is a nut, and it has a split pin through it. You can take the split pin out rather, and tighten it a little bit, like one face of the nut hopefully will be enough. Put the split pin back in, put the cover back on, put the wheel back on, and we should be okay. So let's get moving on it. Okay, so somebody thought about this and created a, I don't know, kind of a little sort of a hubcap with the screw thread in it, so that you can put a bolt in there, and because this kind of hubcap thingy is in there pretty tight, and so it's a way of just getting some leverage to get the cap off. I think hopefully you can see it's already moving. Okay, bingo, that was easy. Okay, let me bring you in a little bit closer so can you see. Okay, there's the nut and the split pin. So I'm going to work on getting that off. So I just pulled the pin out. As you can kind of see, it's up there. But watch this. Look how loose the nut was. Wow, that is super surprising. So I'll just need to get the pin out and really get that bad boy tightened up. Wow. Okay, I'm going to torque up the nut. Don't know exactly what to torque it to, so I'm going to head towards maybe 70, something like that, if I can get my torque wrench to work. Okay, set at 70. Let's just get a feel for where we're at. Look how loose this was. Do you know what? Now that I look at it, I can see why it's so loose. There's a bearing behind there, so it's not supposed to be that. Not supposed to be mega tight, but also I don't think it's supposed to be that loose either. So let's back it off a little bit. Yeah. Let's check the other side. Yeah, we want as little resistance as possible on this. So there's no resistance, but we are still got some looseness in there. Okay, we're spinning nicely. Still a little bit of loose. Yeah, still a little bit. I used to race Formula V, and it's got even less power than a Formula Ford, so you want every single ounce of power, and so you'd want the wheels and the bearings, everything's super loose. We spent a lot of time adjusting brakes to get us there, and right now The drag is more so on the brakes, not on the bearing. So, but I like where that's at. So, next question. If I bring you in, I got the pin in, the new pin in, so we can put the cover back on, and we'll put the wheel back on, and we're looking good, and then I'll tackle the other side. So this is the upper section of the firewall, and when we put the new roll hoop in, the dimensions or where things are located, basically the mounting points for this has changed slightly. So let me see if I can show you where that is. So here's one of the bolts in here. There's another one over on the far side, and unfortunately it doesn't exactly fit, so I need to massage this. So this has to come out, and we will work on adjusting some stuff, and then hopefully we can get back in and mounted. You can see that I had cable ties on just for the test day to shakedown a while ago. So just one more thing we got to get done. We are still under time pressure, but as long as these things keep going smoothly, we'll be okay. Okay. So let's look at this. So you can see, hopefully, that there's an angle bracket here and one on the far side that mounts to the chassis. The mounting points for these on the chassis has changed slightly, so they don't line up anymore. But it's that close that I think if we open up the holes on this that the brackets go into, it might just give us enough of a tolerance that they go straight into the chassis. That'd be great if that works, because we need things to work out for us now so we can get everything done. So let's see what happens. Okay, we're going to try it with just a drill bit that is roughly the same size, and just relieve it a little bit. Don't think this is going to be enough, but let's see. Almost definitely not going to be enough, but let's see. See what it thinks. Slide it back in there. The belts in there and out of the way. Okay, not quite. One of the issues is, yeah, it's not quite there. I think we're gonna have to go bigger. All right, let's take that off again. All right, take two. I've adjusted everything just a little bit more. So let's see how it looks. I'm hoping this is the one so I can move on to the next thing. I'm winning on this one. I'm not sure if you can see it in there, but I managed to get it threaded, so it's just kind of a bit of a laborious, slow tightening of the bolts. Can't get a ratchet in there or a socket, so just using the, I'll show you actually. Hopefully you can see what we have to do here. Okay, I'll show you what we're doing here. So it's so tight, I just have to spin the spanner or the wrench each time. And it turns out I'm not very good at holding the camera and doing this with my left hand, so it's going even slower. Okay, I'm going to put you guys down and focus on completing this. Nicely in there, just need to adjust that belt back up, but it brings up the next issue, which is, remember the fuel cell, and this is our cover from the fuel cell. So again, angles have changed a little bit, so this is how we attach the cover for the fuel cell to the back of the firewall, is through here. And if you look at it, I don't know if you can see it, there's a big gap there now where there wasn't one before, because we built this when we had the old roll hoop. So I've got to come up with a way to make this work. Now, one way that I might be able to make it work in the short term is, actually I got two ideas. One is a longer Zeus button, so you know these quarter turn Zeus buttons that go in there. And then the other, which is probably the right answer, oh, maybe not. I was thinking down here, you can see that bolt right there. There's one on the other side too. That locates the cover on the floor and also relative to the back. And I was thinking about maybe drilling another hole here, allowing it to push further back. But that's not going to work because we've got the bend here. It's right up against the fuel cell. So probably what I'm looking at is some way to make this work with a longer Zeus button. So let me go find some Zeus buttons and see if we can make it work. In dinner, so these are the Zeus buttons. They are in there. I found the right length ones. Here's a couple of other ones to give you a sense of how these things work. So they're great for putting bodywork on and things like that you know need to come on and off fairly frequently but need to be held in place. Well, and so the way they work is, I don't have the other piece of one, but you have a piece of metal and you push the Zeus button down, you capture the piece of metal in here, like a long narrow bit of metal, and you twist it you twist it 90 degrees basically, and it stays in place. So I'll show you here. Here's one. So just 90 degrees and it pops out. So super cool. And they come in different lengths. And so I was just making sure I had the right length. So here's one of the longer ones. And here's one of the shorter ones. So hopefully you can see the difference. And so what we got here is the correct size, which is fantastic. The last thing I need to do is just rivet them on so they'll stay with this cover here. So we already have the holes drilled. We just need to rivet them. So give me a minute and I'll take care of that. Bingo! These are the leftover bits from the pop rivets, and as we talked about before, put them somewhere in a bin, in a trash can, somewhere where they're not going to end up on your driveway, because it is expensive when you have to replace your road tires on your car, because you did that.
Close to halfway, here's your progressive race summary. Ross Chastain, 3 cautions.
So pretty good news. As you saw, I ran the engine for about 10 minutes. No obvious oil leaks, really small water leak at the top of the thermostat housing, which I seem to have solved by tightening it up a little bit. My only concern is it's a bit hard for me to see if there's any water flow from the water pump. I'm a bit concerned that we might have damaged the water pump way back when the car overheated a little while ago. So gonna have to think about how we can test that. But nothing obvious, so that's good news. Still more stuff to do, of course, but it's a really good sign.